All right, go ahead.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Spoken Truth. I go by the name of Denny,
I'm Chaz.
and today we have a packed show for you guys. 2 hours worthy. We're going to get into the Warriors. We're going to get into the Suns with Kevin Durant. We're going to get to the Celtics, the Sixers, the Nets. We're going to get into the Knicks. We're going to get into all of these playoff contending teams, all these playoff teams for the next 2 hours. Tune in to Spoken Truth. Tunde will be joining us briefly, but we're going to get the show started with the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant. We all saw the debut of Kevin Durant. I think he dropped 23 points in that debut. He was very efficient. How good is this Suns team, and how far can they go? First of all, what was your initial? Because we haven't talked
Yes.
since the KD. We haven't talked in a long time. So at first, what was your initial reaction to that news that Kevin Durant was heading to Phoenix?
I mean, from the Phoenix perspective of it, I think it was a move that really had to be done if they wanted to keep their championship aspirations alive. I believe the last time we talked, which was like a few days before that trade happened, I said that the Suns championship window is officially closed. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we kind of all agreed on that,
Mm-hmm.
that, coming into this year, they were already kind of outside of the top tier contenders, but maybe they had a chance to squeak in and they were struggling. They were kind of middling for a lot of the season. But I mean, you add a guy like Kevin Durant, and they had to give up some good pieces for it, but nothing that you're going to regret if you can bring in a guy like KD with a chance to win a championship. I think with the Western Conference wide open as it is, I think it was a move that was pretty easy to make. I know that they had the owner come in, and he pretty much said like, if we have a chance to get this done, let's go do it. And then like you said, we saw Kevin Durant in his debut. I think it was on Wednesday night. Yeah, 23 points, 6 rebounds, I believe, 10 to 15 shooting from the field. I think he only played about 27 minutes. So, they're going to kind of ease him in there, which
Mm-hmm.
is the right thing to do with his injury history, with his age.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to rush it. I want to get your take on what you think it means for KD and the team in general, and then also how you think it affects guys like Devin Booker and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton and just that whole team.
I'm probably one of the very few people that look at this Phoenix Suns team as not a powerhouse. I don't think this is a powerhouse team. I think they have two offensive juggernaut, Devin Booker, Kevin
Probably
Durant.
two of the top 10 scorers in the league, right?
They have two of the top 10 scorers in the league. They have guys that can go get a bucket anytime they need. The other aspect that I'm paying close attention to is their defense. I mean, they've lost all their defensive edge
Mhm.
when Bridges was put in that trade. And I'm not saying that obviously you make that deal if Kevin Durant's on the table. But also, I'm looking at a Chris Paul who is no longer in his prime, that can no longer do what Chris Paul used to do. Now, obviously, he still can assist, he still can pass the ball, but I'm looking at a DeAndre Ayton who is, you know, someone who did not want to be on this team, someone who was benched in the playoffs last year. So we have question marks about two of the Suns' quote unquote big four. Now, none of them are really good at defending. Kevin Durant is okay defender, but I mean, he's not a world stopper. But this team, how they're going to beat you, they're going to outscore you. They're going to outscore you, just like we're seeing with Dallas and the Mavericks. Sorry, we're seeing with Dallas when we got Luka and Kyrie, who we're going to get into a little bit later. The way they beat you is to outscore you. They cannot stop you, but can you stop them? So when I'm looking at this Phoenix team, obviously you're going to say that they, despite their record right now, they're 34 and 29, excuse me. They're in the fourth seed. But I'm going to say I'm going to catapult them up into maybe the third favorite in the conference. I'm not going to put them past the Nuggets, who we're going to get into a little bit later as well. I have to give the Kings respect. Like, even though we continue try to say, well, they're not a legit third seed team, they keep proving time and time again that they belong in that seating where they are. I'm not going to necessarily put them over Phoenix, but I'm also going to say that they are no slouch. I'm going to give the benefit of doubt to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have been, in that placeholder for almost the entire season. They're 38-23, and they're in that second slot right there. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt as well, but I do think they could be had in the 7-game series against Phoenix. I think when it comes down to is there's two teams in this conference that I think can beat Phoenix in a 7-game series. One is definitively the Nuggets. The Nuggets, from top to bottom, I believe have the most loaded and deepest team in the NBA. I think the Celtics have the best roster in the NBA, but I'm also saying that I think they are loaded from top to bottom, the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Two, the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are proven champions. The Golden State Warriors are slowly but surely climbing up the standings. They're 33-30 in their 5th seed. That will be a first-round matchup with Steph versus Kevin Durant. Who would not want to see that? Who would not want to see that? I have people that saying, let's not even speak on it. Let's not speak on it because we're going to jinx it. We're going to jinx it. Just let it play out the way it's going to play out. But those are the two teams that I would say pause where we're talking about Phoenix, coming out the West. They have to go through the Nuggets, and you have to beat the reigning defending champions, who are starting to click without Steph. They're starting they're on momentum. I think they're on a 4-game winning streak. Steph comes back on Sunday. They play tonight. See what happens. They're riding that momentum at the very end of the season. That's kind of how they did last year. It started a little bit earlier last year, but they rode the momentum into the playoff that eventually they captured the championship. They're starting to click on those cylinders that they clicked on last year. And this team is going to sneak. They're not going to sneak into the playoffs, but they're going to get into the playoffs. And then you're going to say, this is not the same Golden State Warriors team that I just saw in the regular season. And until Phoenix beat that, granted, I think Phoenix top to bottom have the best team. They have a better team than Golden State. I think Steph and Clay, I think Steph and Kevin Durant, you cancel out. Then I start looking at the second best players. I'm like, okay, Andrew Wiggins, or are you taking, Devin Booker? Then we're getting into mismatches. Obviously, we're going to take Booker on offense. I'm going to take Wiggins on defense. So we're starting to really have to go to that, the roster. And then I think when you look at it, is that Phoenix is top heavy.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're top heavy. I think Golden State probably has the better team.
Yeah.
But I feel like Phoenix best their 4 is better than Golden State's 4. Even if Steph and Kevin Durant cancel out, their 4 is better.
Yeah, I think that Suns top 4 ranks among the top in the league.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I really do start to get worried because the other night, and I think tonight, Josh Okogie starting, he's playing pretty big minutes for that team right now. Guys like Torrey Craig, Damian Lee, those type of guys who have been playing pretty well, but they're not somebody who you're going to look at and want to be in that closing lineup in a playoff game. And that's what it looks like it would be right now. I mean, Okogie played, I think, 33 minutes the other night, and he's been playing well, but I don't know that you trust him in a playoff series, especially against somebody like the Warriors, somebody against the Nuggets. So I kind of disagree with you. I do feel like this is a powerhouse team because of the way that they were constructed, but I definitely do agree with you that they're my 3rd team in the West, and I have the Nuggets and the Warriors ahead of them too, just because I feel like I would trust them more in a series.
So you do think this is a powerhouse team?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a team that is in the mix to win a championship. Do you?
No, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think that was my point, or that was a point I was trying to make. I'm saying I don't think that this team, when the Golden State assembled that championship team when they won back-to-back in 2017 and 18, 2017 and 18, right? 2017 and 18. They assembled the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like
that was a different kind of powerhouse.
They got all of the fucking they no one was beating them.
Yeah. If that's what you mean by powerhouse,
then
the Suns aren't that.
No, the Suns aren't that. So that was kind of my point, that they're not war beaters. Like they can be had in a 7-game series. No one was beating that Golden State team in 2018. Yeah. I don't care who you put up against them. LeBron with Kevin Love with Kyrie Irving playing at his all-time great level, they weren't beating that team. They all of the Infinity Stones They got all of them.
Yeah.
Like, so they weren't beating that team. I don't look at Phoenix as that team. I look at Phoenix
No.
as a team that's a really put together roster. They have high IQ talented players. They have a offense of arsenal. He cannot be stopped. And they have a decent bench, a below average-ish bench.
Yeah.
So they definitely have a chance to win it all. I'm not saying that,
Okay.
but I'm definitely not putting them as the favorites because you gotta see Milwaukee if you're going to win the championship, and I don't think they could
Yeah.
beat Milwaukee. Milwaukee is also nobody's paying attention. Milwaukee might have the they might have they roster from top to bottom. It's just incredible.
Hmm.
Like I'm still going to give the Celtics the edge in roster from if I'm going spot to like position to position. I'm going to give the Celtics the edge, but it's by a slim margin.
Yeah.
It's by a slim margin. So when I'm looking at this Phoenix team, they got all the makeup to win the championship. And you want to know the most important thing that I think no one's talking about? No pressure on Kevin Durant.
You think so?
There's no pressure for him to win this year. No,
Really?
I don't think so.
At least to make a run, right?
I don't injury. He got injured. He got put into the situation with what 20 games left in the season. He got to. Obviously the fit works, but I don't think there's any pressure on Kevin Durant doing this year.
To
I
win
don't
a
think
championship, I agree with you. But if this team, let's say they get knocked out in the first round,
that's different.
then they're going to be scrutinized pretty
That's
heavily.
different. But to
Yeah.
win a championship
Yeah. I think
next
you
year,
gotta win a round, maybe two, get to the conference finals. If you bow out to the Warriors, to the Nuggets, I don't think there's anything. I
no
don't think
harm, no
yeah.
foul. Honestly,
Next year is probably the year that you're going to look at and say this might be
Mhm.
do or die now, though.
Yeah, because now you have to look at it as if next year you're going to have teams that are going to be constructed to beat Phoenix, and also you're looking at Chris Paul another year older.
Yeah,
DeAndre Ayton, is he happy? I mean, is he happy?
we'll see.
So that's what I'm saying. Like next year will be that year that I'm looking at Phoenix. Like, okay, what you gonna do? Like, you're probably going to be the prohibitive favorites, even if another champion, if you don't win the title, if the Celtics or the Boston, they might be the favorite to win the Western Conference for sure. So next season, I think is pressure. This season, I think Kevin Durant playing with house money. I think even if he wins, he gets knocked out in the second round. I don't think there's any scrutiny to him. Injury came in late in the season. I think he got the ultimate cop out. And they're playing to me. They're playing with house money. Just like I think the reigning defending champions are playing with house money. How can you be a reigning defending champion playing with house money?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like
Mm.
the Nuggets, people by far on paper looks like the superior team. You know, the Warriors are playing with house money. Do I think the Warriors could beat the Nuggets? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Even with how they've been playing, they're 44-19. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. Like it's really going to be interesting to see what happens with this Phoenix team. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Is there anything else you want to say about this Phoenix team?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing that we didn't really mention is Devin Booker. I mean, now every team has to put their top perimeter defender on Kevin Durant. That's going to open up a lot of things for Devin Booker, who, like we said, is one of the 10, if not even shorter list, best
Mhm,
scorers in the entire league.
mhm,
Um, and I mean, you put all that attention on KD, he's gonna get a little more open looks. In that debut for Kevin Durant, Booker ended up having 37, I believe. He's already
mhm.
got 16 points in the first quarter tonight. So I mean, just having the defense's eyes have to focus on somebody like Kevin Durant. I mean, you pretty much have two number one scorers on your team now.
I
So I
also
mean,
I also think it depends on the team.
mhm.
I think it depends on the team
Yeah,
because
because some teams might be equipped to defend that, other teams aren't
mhm,
going to have a chance.
absolutely some teams are equipped to defend Kevin Durant 1-on-1.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that they're not going to get cooked, but I'm saying also
Right.
that there's teams that you don't have to double Kevin Durant.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that was not in it was remarkably incredible what that Golden State Warriors team did, because if you go back and look, out of the two, Steph was double teamed more than Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Steph was the threat more than Kevin Durant was. So Kevin Durant, one of the reasons why a lot of people saying he was playing with house money is because he was rarely double teamed in those finals games. You're going to pick your poison. I would rather stop the man that could shoot from 50 than Kevin Durant being 7 foot tall and being able to go over me, because I mean, either way, Kevin Durant's gonna get the shot. His shot is rarely blocked. So the best thing you could do is double team the smaller guy and try to take the ball out of his hand. We all know Kevin Durant is not the best playmaker, but he knows how to play basketball, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So you put him in a position to be able to be the point guard of your team, and now you're in trouble. That's one of the reasons why he's with Phoenix. One of the reasons why he got Chris Paul, who's a point guard. Like he's in a position where he's not the leader. He's not the floor general. All he got to do is play basketball. All he got to do is play basketball. When he's with the Warriors, he wasn't the leader. He wasn't the floor general. All he had to do was play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
With the Nets, he was the leader.
He had to do everything. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the floor general.
Yeah.
He's a person that had to lead the charge. And Kevin Durant's just not that type of dude.
So in that sense, you think he's in a much better position to have success in Phoenix?
I think so. I think Kevin, this is one of the rare places I think Kevin Durant can be happy in. I think this is one of the places that he can potentially end his career with. I don't forsake seeing Kevin Durant move anywhere, going anywhere to another different team. I just don't see it. I think he wanted to go to Phoenix. He's been wanting to go to Phoenix for a while now.
Yeah.
Going back 2 years, he's been wanting to go to this team. So he's finally there. Let's see if he can be happy. Let's see if he can bring them a championship, because a championship in Phoenix will mean more to his legacy than the 2 he got in Golden State. And we all know that.
Yeah.
So let's see if he can do it. Like, he's in a position where he can. I will firmly believe that he can't win the title outside of Steph. He's in a position where he can. Let's see if he can be the reason they win. I'm not saying he wasn't one of the reasons Golden State won, but you had a juggernaut. Like, you had a team of teams.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can win without Steph, because he's one about you. At the end of the day, I feel like it's one of those things that it's almost consensus. Like, when you're talking about Kevin Durant, Steph is going to be attached to him.
Yeah.
And if you don't win without that man, it's going to be a problem. Like, it's not big as because he's still in the midst of it now. But if he end up retiring and he never wins again without Steph, people are literally going to look at that and be like, you cannot win without him. And I just don't, he's too good of a player to have that be his legacy.
Yeah.
He's too good of a player for that to be, oh, you can't win without Steph. Like, that would eat me inside. I promise you, I couldn't live with that. I couldn't do it. Like, I'm gonna win without this man. Like, I don't care about hook or by crook. So he's in a situation where he can do that, and hopefully he can be happy.
So would you say, I think we both agree that if we're talking contenders to win it all, it's Celtics, Milwaukee, Golden State, Denver, in no order, but I think those are the top 4, right?
I think those are the top 4.
Is Phoenix 5, or are they a little bit further down the list? Like where do you rank them against teams like Memphis and
I think they can.
Philadelphia?
I think Phoenix could beat anybody in the Western Conference in a 7-game series. They could beat Golden State and the Nuggets, and I just think that for one, the Warriors have the edge because they are proven champions, and the Warriors have the edge because they have a player that can transform any type of game. So it's not just that Phoenix has the most talent, is that the Warriors have a team that's been through a lot of trials and tribulations before. And they have a backcourt that can just shoot better than any other backcourt. So they're in a unique position, because now, if you asked me this two weeks ago, I would have said the Warriors don't stand a chance against this team. how they're playing. If they're playing like this, they not stand a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But we've yet to see the Warriors play Warriors basketball this season. And that's the scary part because they're winning not healthy. They're winning without their best player. They're winning perhaps without their best defender. They're winning these games at 80, 70% full strength. So when you get healthy and you can continue this, Andrew Wiggins hasn't played in I don't know how long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long. Personal issues, that's his business. Steph Curry's out. You know, PG, he's out. Gary Payton, he's out. So when you get these elements back into your team, and then you have Steph, you have Clay having the best month of his career last month. You got Clay starting to turn it on, starting to turn that knob a little bit. You got Draymond doing Draymond Green things. You got Looney doing Looney things. So you have Jordan Poole, who plays better without Steph in the lineup. The Warriors have a bigger issue in their hands because how do you keep this man out of the starting lineup? And he's playing like he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they ran into the same problem last year with Jordan Poole. What do you do? I think it's going to come down to matchups. If you have a team that's smaller, I think Jordan Poole 9 times out of 10 will start. If you're playing a team that's bigger like Denver, they're probably going to start with a bigger lineup to handle Yoke. So it really depends on the matchups. It's going to be very exciting. But also the Nuggets, who we're going to talk about a little bit later. Is Jokic the best player in the NBA? It is. You think on the surface it sounds crazy, but this man is about to win a third consecutive MVP. Like he should, if the award ended today, he should be MVP. Like, and he's not. You can't mention him as the best player in the NBA. Like, we need to talk about what's the reason behind that. Yeah. So they're talented from top to bottom. They have an excellent bench. Their three best players are playing at all-time level. Jokic is having a better season statistically wise than he had last year. I don't know if that's possible. He's averaging way less points, but he's still having an incredible season. I think he's averaging a triple-double, right? So, did you pause? I think you paused.